Guys, this is Mrs. Hall, and today I'm going to show you a little bit how to do the sketch worksheet for the Futurism project. So what I have before me on the screen is my finished Futurism project. This one was done in oil pastels. You have the option to use oil pastels or colored pencils. If I get oil pastels, I will pass them out to you, but most likely most of you will be using colored pencils. So I had to pick a figure that is in correct proportion because that's what I'm going to be grading on. Does the figure look proportionally correct? So on mine, I did like a skater and they're like leaning back into a pose. And so the way I got that is I drew the figure, I cut it out, and I traced it several times. So let me show you kind of what that's going to be like. So you're going to get a worksheet and it looks like this. And it says, sketch the outline of your figure in the box. It needs to fill up the space. Check with Mrs. Hall and then cut out when finished. So the reason I was going to have you check with me, and if you're not at school, obviously you can't check with me, so that's okay. The reason I was going to have you check with me is because I don't want you to make the figure really tiny. So I made this box to kind of help you out. Now, do you have to have this worksheet at your house? Absolutely not. What I suggest to do then is take a piece of printer paper and turn it on its side like this. That way you understand about how big you need to make your figure. If it helps you to kind of make like a box, and you can use your ruler if you want. The box itself doesn't matter because you're not using the box, you're just using the figure. If that helps you, that's fine. So if you're at home, you can do that. You actually could draw this on notebook paper if you wanted to. Notebook paper is a little thinner, so I try to use a thicker printer paper. So whenever I do this project, normally at school, I have a printout of a bunch of different sports figures that it kind of goes step by step on how to show you how to draw these. And I do have them as a resource on the internet. Let me see where they are. But whenever I scan them into the copier, it kind of turns them sideways or upside down. So it's a little bit difficult because when I was at school, I could just rotate this, but I'm not able to rotate this. If you take a screenshot of one of these, you probably could rotate the screenshot when you're all done, and that's possible. The other thing that I did when I did my second drawing is I literally just used the same process that we used on the figure drawing packet. So I decided to draw the spine and the torso first. So I'm not looking off of anything, I'm just making this up. So let's say I make like a curved spine. And then I make the shoulders going this way. And maybe I make the hips going straight. We'll just make the hips going straight today. Usually the shoulders are a little wider. Okay, so that's a good start. So you could turn that any way you kind of wanted to. Then I made a trapezoid. Again, this is kind of reflecting the packet that we did. I made a trapezoid, and then I made another trapezoid. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and I'll make the head. That was very bad rhyming. I apologize for that. Then I'm going to put like the joints for the shoulders, and I'll make a line out for the arms. I'm going to make them straight. So remember, there's an elbow joint, and then I'm just making that kind of weird hook thing that you guys learned at your other packet. Okay, so I'm making the elbow joint, and you could make these arms any way you want. But remember, we learned how to do this already. This arm looks a little long. I might have to shorten that. Okay, same thing for the legs. I could make the legs kind of twisted anyway, but I think what I'm going to do is I need to make the hip joints. Okay, then I'm going to make the legs straight just because I feel like it. And I'll make the knees. So remember, this is like a stick figure, and we're going to turn it into a figure in proportion. Okay, so I'm looking at this, and this arm is too long. So too short. As you do this, go back and forth and see like what does not look correct. All right, so now I'm ready to make those like sausage arms or whatever to make it look a little bit more 3D. So I'll go through, I'll add that to my arms. And if it doesn't look right in the end, you can kind of look back at your packet, and you can use your packet to help you with this if you want. There are several figures in your packet that you could actually use for this. Okay, and then I can make this kind of curve go here and a neck. And voila, I have a beautiful figure. Now I could I could add hair, and that would be totally fine. And so when I'm all done, I want to check it and make sure it would fit on the paper properly. So if I'm at school, I can use a 9x12" paper. But if I'm at home, I could use a piece of printer paper. So just make sure it fits properly. All right, once I'm finished, this is a very, very big figure, but hey, what the heck? Once I'm finished and it looks correct, you may want to check with a teacher. If you're not sure, you can email me and I can check it too. I suggest, and this is optional, but I suggest taking a Sharpie and going around the figure so that you know where to cut out, because we're going to be cutting this out. Now, when you do this, this really kind of shows you what it's going to look like. I would go through and I would add some fingers. Okay, it's going to look like a mitten anyway because you're going around the fingers. But if that bothers you, you can make them a little bit more pronounced. All right, so I'm going around my figure with a Sharpie. If you don't have a Sharpie, you could use any sort of marker. You could use a colored pencil. That's fine. See, same thing with the toes. It's going to look more like a mitt. Okay, so there is my figure. When I am finished, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this out. So I'll go around as carefully as I can and cut it out. Some of you are going to have very tiny parts to cut out, and it's going to be a little challenging, but you need to do your best with this. So I'll go through and I'm going to go ahead and cut it out. All right. I'm going to finish cutting this, and then I'll make another video that I show you the next step after you cut it out. If you have questions, then you can email me. Thanks so much.